Oh my gosh, are you powerful this month? Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your November 2019 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to bring you guys, hopefully, an even more empowering reading for your month ahead. Oh my gosh, I feel your energy so strongly, probably more than anyone else. We are moving into Scorpio time, which is your axis, it's your opposite. And are these messages important for your month? We have a lot to talk about. Okay, Taurus, so people are not for you this month. People are not the place where you find your power. People are not don't go back, okay? Don't go back. Don't walk back into something weird because it's very likely, and this is intuitive messages before we get into the tarot. It's very likely that you could go back to anything. It's very likely that you are strong enough, powerful enough to like go back to your ex, or go back to the ex before that, or go back to the old career that never was great, or into the old industry. You are really, really strong here, and with that strength and power comes some super, super big responsibility. Is there someone that needs apologized to? Is there someone that needs to be told how things were? Is there someone that doesn't know that they did you wrong that you need to tell? It's important to sort of get a blank canvas here, I think. That's what I heard when I was shuffling your cards. I did pre-shuffle, but we will cut them before we get into it. I heard that people have to be told the truth during this time, and there has to be a blank canvas. Okay, there has to be a sense of starting over in some way. We have Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign as well. We have Mercury retrograde showing you so clearly. All of a sudden, something pops up in the side view mirror, in the rear view mirror behind you, or to the side in the peripherals that you don't really know how to deal with. Do you do it? Do you not? There are super attractive people around you, things that are tempting. You're dealing with temptation here. You're dealing with release here. You're dealing with the death of old foliage, okay? And when that happens, sometimes a lot of people can come around and say, let me harvest. Give some to me. Give some of what you don't need anymore to me. Basically, people can be a little bit vampiristic to you. So what I really recommend for Taurus moving into November is get to know yourself, okay? Get to know what you really liked about that person before. Understand why you fell in love with someone who was so narcissistic, or someone who was so, just amidst turmoil. Why was that so attractive? The mysterious person. Maybe you were with a Scorpio before, maybe you were with a Pisces or something, and it's very mysterious and you're very attracted, and then you got in and you thought, this is never going to work. And then it creates a bond that could never be severed. We are dealing with those really, really tough bonds that can sometimes span lifetimes if we don't really ever truly want to let go of them. Okay, Taurus. Something really good for you this month is going to be some sort of therapy, some sort of psychological navigation, maybe even reading about psychological concepts, or getting to know your shadow side. I mean, there's a lot on my channel about that. I have a new ebook called Moon Symbols, so you can get to know your moon sign more if you wanted to check that out. I also do private readings. Basically, it's a good time to look within in some way, perhaps with someone who's objective. So whether y'all were to use me or anyone else or anything, it doesn't have to be me, of course. It's a really supported time for that, okay? Because you guys can feel a little bit skewed and a little bit like your brain can be buzz, 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 buzz. Where do I go? What do? I don't know. So it's good to just sort of prioritize some time, even if it were just by yourself in meditation, to let your mind realize that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm looking like this, or if I'm with, this person or that person, as long as I have a sense of, what I want in life. Because sometimes Taurus wants a lot. Sometimes Taurus wants to move in with somebody, or wants to connect with other people. It's a material sign, but also like a body sign. So Taurus can freak out about solitude. You guys are meant to be with other people. You're meant to be in relationships. You're meant to be around other bodies. You're a very social sign, okay? And during this time, you can see that gets a little deactivated, and you can see, okay, hold up, where are the people? And you can sort of shudder about it. What a beautiful time to not be around people for Taurus. And this is sort of just a channeling. The channeling energy is really coming through for you guys. What a beautiful time to see yourself, to look in the mirror and know what your body looks like. I've been talking about this a lot in some of my private readings, actually, where it's an interesting time to see that who you see in the mirror versus who you visualize, if we're talking about ourselves, very, very different. Are we visualizing ourselves to look a lot different than we actually do? Are we living more than one life? Are we living in more than one existence? We have a Neptune square Jupiter in the sky, still lingering. And we can be a little bit off about how we see ourselves during this time. And that can lead to a lot of stories that never really end. So there's a responsibility of how we channel our energy now. Okay, Taurus, so it's a lot. It's a random channeling. It's a little bit of just different messages coming in, but I felt that needed to be heard. So let's see what's coming up for you in tarot, and we will clarify. Okay, so this reading is going to look like most of my readings here. I'm going to go week by week for the month of November. Then we will get into the central theme and power cards in the extended. Okay. You guys can breathe this month, though. Something has released. I will say that. I felt your cards. I felt the energy coming in, and something is not holding you down. So that's why all of that heaviness that we were just talking about is coming up, because you do have more to work with here, which is a blessing innately, but sometimes we can feel pressure. Like, how do I introduce new things in my life when there's new space to fill, you know? Okay, week number 1, Taurus, you have Queen of Swords. Rooted down by the Hanged Man. Okay. Yeah, that's sort of the flux that I'm feeling for you, is to, on one hand, know so clearly what you want and to know so clearly what your life needs, but to feel stuck outside of that. And it's okay. It's okay. This is basically the paradox that we're all kind of going through right now, is to know so clearly, but to not necessarily be able to act on it, or to not necessarily maybe have the funds for it, or to not feel like the people are in alignment to make it happen. That's okay. That's okay. Make the plan anyway, Taurus. If you could, in the first week of November, make the plan anyway. Start to strategize about how you can move forward. Start to strategize about how do I get less stagnant? How do I move on? What is the next chapter of my life looking like? You'd be surprised about the good ideas. Just don't necessarily expect that writing it down or getting the plan will make the change, right? Because that's one of the things about the swords energies, is that they don't necessarily represent anything real. They don't necessarily represent our lives or what we're seeing in front of us. They represent what's in our head, okay? And this is sort of what I was talking about in the beginning about, especially with the Hanged Man, about your image of yourself in your brain versus what it is in real life, and perhaps that being quite incongruent and creating a bit of discord. Of course, that's proverbial in a sense, because it's not so important. I mean, it is, but it's not going to skew your life to see yourself differently than you actually are. But there might be a lot of things in your life that you are thinking about differently than the way they actually are. Okay? Seeing the relationship of the past, letting that be something inside that is not actually what it was. Okay? Or seeing somebody and pursuing somebody, wanting to be with somebody. There's something in your head that they are not actually. Okay? We've got to watch out for rose-colored glasses or colored glasses. You know what I mean? So let's see. Week number 2 for Taurus, we have Queen of Cups. That's loving to come up in the second week. A lot of signs have gotten that in the second week. Rooted down by 4 of Cups. Yes, thank God, Taurus, you're letting yourself be alone. You're letting yourself have like a little bit of solitude, okay? Not distracting yourself with the quandaries of other people. Thank God. I was really worried that you guys would come into November and just be like, okay, how can I distract myself? Which person can come over to my house? Which person can I go on a date with? Second week of November, you need to be in solitude to some degree. You need to be resting. You need to be recovering. And because you're going to get a good idea, you're going to connect this Queen of Swords and 4 of Cups energy and Queen of Cups, and you're going to have like an epiphany, okay? You're going to see who you are, okay? Everything with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio could be in flux, but you will see who you are, and that will give you so much more. You could cry a lot. Okay, this is a watery time. We are in the brunt of Scorpio season here. You could realize that somebody from the past was very different than what you thought, and you could cry about it. You could realize that you've been pursuing a career or someone that really took a lot from you, and you might cry about that. And in those tears, there is a wake up call. Okay, beautiful. Week number 3, Taurus. The Chariot reversed, rooted down by 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is along the lines of the Hanged Man too, and this is a theme that keeps coming up for you guys in November, is don't necessarily take it upon yourselves to make every change right now. Know what you need to change, but know this is not the time to unexpectedly up and move. This is not the time to, start 2 new jobs at the same time, or to, take on a full-time load at the university while you're also starting your own business and expecting both of them to work out. You could take on too much during this time. You could get this, you could see yourself. You could see, okay, yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. And you could say, I'm starting that now. And that's good, but it's important that you let go of something to start something. Okay. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. A big problem that we have societally is that we think we can have it all, that we think that we can do everything. We think that we can, do everything. Let's keep it simple. No, if we want something to flourish in our lives, we have to let go of something to make space for it. That's going to get more and more true as we move through the next few years with this big Capricorn injection. There's a really meticulous need to let go of things, because when Capricorn energy is functioning in a lower vibrational way, we see hoarding. We see taking on too many material things. We see hoarding material. Okay, so energetically, as we are in Scorpio time, it's not going to be so material. We could see hoarding energy, hoarding ideas, hoarding, thoughts. We've got to make sure that we are letting go of something to introduce something. We got to make sure that we are not running headlong into an oncoming train. Chariot reversed. Reflect. Reflect on what trains you've been running headlong and headfirst into proverbially. Okay, because then you will see the formula, right? Might be a good time to sell something, if you've got a lot of property, if something's taking way too much energy to maintain, might be a good time to say goodbye to it, or a person, or a job. Watch out for that. Watch out for quitting jobs during this time. I'm not saying quit your job, but if you had like 3 different jobs, 1 full-time and 2 part-time and like a creative business, it might be good to say goodbye to one of them. Okay. Week number 4, Taurus. 6 of Wands. Confidence. I love this. Finally. Because we're lacking for confidence here. 6 of Wands rooted down by 6 of Cups. So 2 6 cards. Yeah, this is really where it's going to start, the transition. Right? This is really where you're going to see, all right, it can't keep on in this way. Maybe this house or this apartment or this school or this job, all 5 of them are not going to be able to continue on this way. It's time to proceed with an E, precede, out. You're kind of having a procession here. And don't bypass the nostalgia of it all. There's an amends to be made with the past, yes, but it's not about staying there for very long. It's not about getting people's hopes up, because 6 of Cups is an interesting card because there's a give and take, right? There's a sense of charitability, family ties, nostalgia, connecting with someone from the past. It's not meant to be forever, though. This can take up too much of your time, but you've got to do it in the 4th week of November to some degree. It's not about being mean either, so I don't want you guys to be mean-spirited. Not that you would be. You're such sweet people for the most part. But it's not about getting back at somebody or, weighing the balance in some way. It's just about saying goodbye. A formal goodbye to something could be really, really nice for you. Overall, for the month of November, though, Taurus, you want to operate in emotion when it comes to seeing yourself. When it comes to dealing with other people, you want to operate in confidence and kindness. We don't really want for those to conflate. So it's not about, how do I want to say this? Confidence is okay when looking at yourself, but we don't want to get like egotistical. We want to bypass our ego when we're just contacting ourselves, so we can see where we're truly at. But at the same time, you don't want to be super emotional when you're dealing with people, because it makes things last too long. So it's good to really distinguish between those two parts of yourself. Do not avoid solitude this month. Things aren't going to move in the outside world as quickly as you might want, so don't necessarily expect that the entire outside world changes during this time. Yet you get the plan and the strategy of the next move, okay? And you have a good emotional wake-up call. It's not about quick motion, though. We've got a lot of cards that indicate things might be slowed down or delayed this month, but that's okay because you just need to see something that's just within you. Reflect, maybe sell something, maybe let go of something that is crowding you too much, and you will have a great month. Okay, Taurus, if you would like to see your central theme for the month, how this entire thing is coming together to culminate, as well as your power cards, how you can get power and how you can move through this with more clarity and more understanding, you can check out this extended reading over on Patreon, which I will link in the center of the screen, as well as below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I post new videos every Friday here on YouTube that go far beyond even tarot. And there will be a lot of new content if you would like to get to know me more as a person, coming soon in 2020. So there's a lot of new stuff coming in. And thank you guys so much for being here. If you would like to see these readings every month, you can hit the subscribe button below. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. It would really mean a lot to me to help the YouTube algorithm to get these videos out there. And comment below. Let me know how it's going for you so I can see feedback and see how things have been. Yes, Taurus, we will be talking soon. Much love. Good luck in November. Great month for you. Bye.